Look at monkeys.
No, well, yeah, but
Look at
well,
monkeys.
if you want to go there, then it was biting first because they bite.
And scratching.
Yeah, that would be first. If you want to be real.
But see, that's just aggression. We talking about the construct of an ass whooping and
Well,
what it is.
then we're totally wrong because they used to shrill at each other and squeal. Like they would make all these
Right.
noises
Okay.
to show.
To the point to where that developed into a chancla, a belt, a switch, a paddle.
I don't know, but we're live, so let's talk
live.
about something different. Hello,
Talking about
hey,
the
how's everybody
progression
doing?
of an ass whooping, y'all. Just so y'all know, we'll get into
Steve
it later.
is having this. He's going down this path that RJ and myself are
I
trying
want to
figure
draw it out. We're gonna go.
All right.
What we got
And
in here
I just
today?
want to say thank you for all of you that are here with us today. Obviously, it's no secret that our host, our guest today is Ralphie Joe, RJ, Raphael, Joshua. What else? What other nicknames do you have, Ralphie?
Ralphie Boy by Funk, Aqua Funk. I'm called Homie by Corey Adorable because we're close that way, and I'm called a brother by Tina. So yeah, many names.
That's good. Now, we're kind of waiting for people to come in. Let's get some of these hellos out of the way before we get going in our conversation today. Looks like we have our very first one today was Adele, collaboration of curiosities. Thank you for being here. Jeff Kane, thank you for being here. And obviously Jesse, thank you very much for being here with us.
Nano Aquarium guy.
Yeah, Nano Aquarium guy.
Laura V.
T-Bird Raven.
T-Bird.
That's Tina.
Hey.
Tina.
Hey, Tina. That's who that is. See, y'all need to stop. No, everybody got different decorations on their shit based on what social media it is. Because Tina, thank you for that, Tina. She had something. A little video to watch. And everybody decoration different. Like my decorations is the same across the whole, but maybe I need to get some different ones too. But yeah, thank you for that, Tina. I did get it.
And then Watts is here. Thank you for being here with us. Hey, Brandon. And they're starting to trickle in. But, today is a very special day for us.
Yeah, it is. I want to know something, Ralph. How does that make you feel? Like having all them nicknames, but like more importantly, like when Aquafunk calls you Ralphie Boy, like how does that make you feel? Like what connotations,
I honestly, when I entered the community, when I got introduced to the community, I didn't expect the amount of love and welcome that the community has given me because I'm disclosing it fully right now. I don't have a tank. I don't have a fish room, and I'm still learning about the hobby. So the welcome that I got when I entered especially Instagram with Corridor Vocali Aquariums, was just outstanding. And yeah, I just rolled with the nicknames.
Well, I mean, you did a pretty good job of deflecting, but you ain't gonna be able to last long. We gonna get you. We're gonna have a good show today.
Let me ask you something real quick. I know that obviously we know that you have a presence on Instagram. Do you have any other social links out there that we need to put out for people to make sure that
Instagram is like the only public presence that I have on social media.
Okay.
I have a Facebook, but my Facebook's like private. So
no, that's fine. Yeah. So basically, where people, if they wanted to chat with you, that would be through Instagram, right?
Instagram, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I know I interrupted you, Steve.
No, I was giving Ralph a hard time to kind of let people trickle in and just loosen up a bit. But because say it's Ralphie boy, right?
Yeah.
And I know Jason. He's a friend of mine, Uncle Funk, if you guys don't know. And I know his sense of humor. And I know the kind of person. Like he has a sense of humor about him. You know, it's a locker room sense of humor.
Right.
But he has a serious side. And we always serious, me and him, when we talk. But for him to call you Ralphie boy, I'm just trying to understand, how does it make you feel and why?
I just find it funny. I just find it like, okay, cool. That's another name to add to the rack. And just to like have a. I mean, I love Alcohol is a cool dude, and he's a fun guy. Um, and yeah, it's just an endearing nickname.
You want to just pick one nickname?
Well, that's that's. What do you rather be called? Your name?
You know what? Actually, Ralphie Joe.
Damn,
I'll go with that. I'll
good.
go with that. Ralphie Joe.
That's you, Steve.
Warrior gave me that name.
Yeah.
Episode 5 of
Dude,
Fish Plant
you have no idea. Like, I was doing some serious Jedi mind work right now, making up this long ass dissertation of why you should have chosen Ralphie Joe. And look at God.
Right.
Man.
Fun fact about
like
the name Ralphie Joe, right? I loved it so much that when my school, because we had like a website design module, I did an online LFS named Ralphie Joe Aquatics. And yes, when I get a tank, my Instagram handle, which I already booked, it's my backup account, is Ralphie Joe Aquatics.
All right.
So yeah.
That's what's up. Like, you know what? It's a habit. You know how it is, right? Like, when you got the homies and then you call them what come natural. Like, you just call them what feel good.
Right.
And then I was like, well, Raphael, Joshua, oh, that's too much. That's too much. Now, fuck that. You're going to be Ralphie Joe. You know what I'm saying? Shit, that Ralphie Joe right there. Shit, Ralph, Joshua bullshit, Joe, today. So, and that's how you do it. And you know, it's on yours because it's for you. That's why I've nicknamed is. It's crazy. Me and Jorge, we was just having this conversation about this. Do you let your kids call your name? So, like, if my son came up to me and was like, "Hey, Steve," or even worse, my government name, you know, oh, I lose my shit. In a way to like be like, "Hey, man, are you fucking right now?" Or like, "What's going on? You okay? Something happening at school? You know, like, did your girlfriend not get a package? Like, what's the business?" And it's important. Nicknames are important. Look at YouTube. Look at social media in general. People go crazy with their handles, their names. I don't know what the technical word is. Your internet name. Everybody got all these ones. We got like Lady Rorschach. You know what Rorschach test is, right?
Mm-hmm. No.
Cat brains. That's what I always see.
You don't know what it is, Ralphie?
No, I don't.
It's like ink powder. It's an ink blot. That's the.
Oh.
It's for it's a psychological test.
Yeah, it's called the blob test sometimes.
Like ink blob. This is the first time I'm hearing it.
Oh yeah, well, it's also
it's
also a character on one of the coolest comics out there.
What comic is that?
Okay. Watchmen.
Oh my god.
The Watchmen. You never seen that? It's all anti-heroes. That's why I like it.
Yeah, that's why I said that. I already knew what your angle was. So I was like, oh god. It is a good show though.
Yeah, but here's, I guess, before we get Ralphie telling his side of how he got to the hobby, I want to share a little bit of I've been trying to rack my head as to exactly when was the first time that I saw you, um, either on YouTube or on Instagram. But I
I
know,
remember.
yeah, I remember the I okay. Let me backtrack. Um, I didn't realize that you knew Jesse until Jesse was on the hotspot with Drew with
I was
Fishy.
finna get him. Oh man.
That's when I made that connection, because I know we had exchanged messages on Instagram, but I still didn't realize that I didn't associate you and Jesse together.
Right.
And so it was like whatever. But when Jesse was on the hot seat, that's when I said, "Oh, okay, that's got to be one of her friends." And I figured that was the common thread between you and I. And but I know it took me a little while, because I know we had been going back and forth. You had left some likes and some comments, and I know at that time you weren't doing very much on Instagram either. Were you relatively new to Instagram at that point?
I joined Instagram to support Jesse. Prior to
Okay.
Corridor Caliograms, I did not have Instagram.
Okay. So I guess how long have you been part of the community?
Since the birth of Corridor Caliograms, since January 21st, 2020, January 20th, 2022. So that's
So
when I
last year, at the
started.
beginning of last year.
Yes, sir.
Oh, so me and Jesse kind of started at the same time then, roughly. I know, as far as having a presence on social media.
Right. I think the first Aquarius that I talked to at length was Biz, and actually there's a funny story behind that.
See,
As to
that's where I
how
was going to go with it. Go, yes, yes.
so my homie got invited to the Hotspot, which is
Uh
this
huh.
fun show that Fisher Biz Aquatics does, to get to know the person behind the fish keeping. And I texted Biz. I was like, "Hey, looking forward to the hotspot with Corridor Cali Aquariums. Um, turn up the heat." And he's like, "Yeah, I will. But by the ways, do you have any questions that you want asked?" And I gave him like 27 questions that day. And here's the funny thing: I contacted him 2 days before her episode, and those 2 days we had like two phone conversations, and I had to keep my mouth shut and zipped, and like kind of like every time she mentioned the hospital, I'm like, okay, yeah, have fun, go for it. And behind the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, you're in for a treat. You're gonna get heated up. So yeah, um, that's the hotspot story, and then Drew ran with it, and yeah.
Well, here's Tina has something to say to you. You threw her under the bus, huh?
I
Oh,
was about
gladly.
to. I got you, Tina. I got your back, Tina. If I may, putting up the slavery church finger. Now, if I do recall correctly, you did go on the hot spot, because
I
I
did.
remember in the no. I'm saying when Corey Dorable went up for the hot spot, I remember in the comments seeing, because you was all up in the comments,
I
and
was, yeah.
I was like, who in the hell is this? He sure is cheerleading for the homie Corey, because we had just barely pulled her onto the team to be one of the moderators for the Fish Plancy Mice.
Right.
And I made a couple phone calls. I ain't gonna say the who. And I was like, who the hell is this? Oh, no, he cool, man. He cool. He came over here with such and such. And I was like, I'm gonna keep an eye on him. So after I vetted you out and you was cool, I just seen the other stuff. And we gonna get to that, of how me and you connected.
Right.
And it was scars, but we gonna save that. But after I vetted you out, because I was like, because you was cheerleading, I was like, some things was said, nothing bad, but kind of like, he was all up in the comments a little too much. Pissed me off. I do that. You can ask Drew. You can ask Jorge. That's just me, though. That's my
Okay.
sense of, because I don't want to waste my love, Ralphie Joe. I don't want to waste it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's special. So, like, by the time I get around to feeling like I want to feel, I got to make sure that what's there is really there. If that
Right.
makes any sense.
Right.
You
But
know what I'm saying?
here's the funny thing though. Here's the funny thing. He talked about vetting me, but when Corey was like, "Hey, I'm talking to this guy, Mexican fish keeper and Warrior Planter Tanks," I'm like, "I'm gonna go check out these two dudes and like, see what they're all about. Like talk to my
Ah,
homie." So
see,
you guys are vetting
y'all
me,
thought I wasn't going nowhere with this shit. I'm good at what I do. Yeah, so you vetted me and Mexicali out on the
right?
strength of who the hell is these cats is. You know? Like, who these cats is?
Lady Rorschach is
Steve,
reaching out to us.
what do you say, George?
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
down.
I'm down. I'm
Definitely,
DTF.
for
I'm
sure.
So
DTF.
yeah, she told me about the both of you, and she told me about Aquafunk, and she told me about Biz and basically the entire fish fam, like Skippers, uh, you know, Watts, Big Tank Hank. I might have missed a couple of names, but yeah, I looked at up. I looked at all of you guys, and like, you know what? And you guys were like completely welcoming, and like, I'm like, okay, these guys are cool.
Well,
So
Ralphie, one of the neat things about this in general, and I can say
Mm-hmm.
this in general, most of the people here in this community um, are very welcoming. I mean, I
very,
kind of
yeah,
I know I kind of went through the same thing when I started, putting stuff out, content and stuff like that. I was very pleasantly surprised as to how welcoming and how encouraging everybody was, and that's
right,
one of the things that I've really have enjoyed about being part of the community.
right.
And so, I understand where you're coming
Likewise.
from. Yeah, and I think me and you, it's almost, I would almost dare to say, you and I and Jesse have all kind of started at the same time. Um, so
Totally.
we kind of grown together and this doing this. So to me, it's like I said, and it's funny how you make connections
Mm-hmm.
through this common interest of fish, because now here's a perfect prime example that you don't need to keep tanks to be part of the community. I know other content creators have been saying that for a while, but you're the first one that I know that genuinely fits that bill
Right.
as somebody who's just has a passion for the hobby, even though currently you're not keeping any tanks. But before we get into that, give us a little bit of your background, where you're from, where you live, that kind of stuff. Because we're gonna start going into the weeds with you pretty soon.
Okay, sure. So I'm Raphael. I'm RJ Rafi Joe. Let's stick the name. From now henceforth, I shall be known as Rafi Joe. Okay. By the community. Thanks, Warrior, for that nickname. So I'm 21 years old. Um, and I live in Singapore, a small island country in Southeast Asia that is very hot, very humid. We don't have four seasons. We only have rain and very, very hot sun. But I do have 25 local fish stores within 25 minutes of my house. So yeah. Um, and I pretty much yeah, I met Jesse on Facebook. We were both right. We are both writers. And I connected with her on Facebook because she was looking for accountability, and she was looking for an accountability partner to do sprints and laps with her in 30-minute blocks. And I was like, sure. I DM'd her, and we started talking, and our relationship just grew from there. Later, and she honestly, you guys, Jesse and Tina changed my life forever. And there have been episodes within the 1.5 years I've known these two incredible women that have like completely changed my life 180 degrees. So yeah, hats off to both of you.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this before we get off of where you're from. How and I kind of know the answer to this, but how big is the hobby industry in Singapore?
How I couldn't give you a number though, but by the by the gauge of 25 local fish stores, I would say it's a pretty it's an industry that's thriving in this country. And I
Well,
think
let me ask you a different question then. How many people do you know that are breeding fish in Singapore?
personally, zero.
Oh yeah.
Personally, zero.
Okay. How
What is
prevalent is it? So the average household, how prevalent is a fish tank general? Like how prevalent is it? Is it culturally, etc.? Like are fish tanks as common there as what you've seen portrayed in the States?
Not as common though, because most of us, I think about 80% of the population live in apartments. So
Okay.
space is somewhat of a constraint. So, I wouldn't say it's common in that sense. Personally, I haven't seen the like, like I can honestly maybe count how many. I could honestly say that I only have noticed that within my apartment block, I could only have one person that I know keeps a tank. And this I
Mhm.
know because whenever I used to climb stairs as a workout, I could smell the tank water coming
Oh
from their
wow.
apartment.
So they kept the
So,
pour tank.
so
You can smell it. See, that's intriguing that you say this about the apartments, okay? Because that's kind of what goes along with my theme of Warrior Planet tanks and the gypsy style, turn my
right.
coin, is the fact that you got a lot of people who don't have the stability of home ownership. So it's intriguing to me that you say that because I know personally that shrimp are big in Singapore, nanos are big in Singapore, and I'm wondering, based on real data from the field that I just got from you, that if that has a lot to do with why those styles of tanking might be so popular in a country like that, like Singapore.
I don't really understand the question.
So smaller tanks like nano aquariums, shrimp
Right.
tanks, due to the fact that people live in apartments and they don't have the space necessarily to have these big tanks and they don't own a home, they could have a large fish room, a pond, etc. So in order to enjoy the hobby and participate in the hobby, they they lean toward keeping the smaller
The tank.
setups.
Yeah, I think that's
Popularity.
I think that's from what I've seen, and like I've like kind of shopped around and seen what tanks are available, and I've pretty much only seen like up to a 15 gallon almost. So I think 15 gallons are
Okay, that's
popular.
definitely a
The
nano.
10, 15 gallon tanks, like of those range, like I haven't seen like a 125 gallon for sale somewhere. So yeah, I think based on the data that 15-gallon tanks are hot sellers, I would
Mm-hmm.
say that nano tanks and nano setups are pretty popular.
Well, do you think it's that? Like, for example, I know that in Mexico, keeping fish is a luxury
Right.
Right.
because all the equipment, all the tanks, you're paying almost double of what you would normally pay here stateside.
Right.
Stateside, I mean. Now, is that this in Singapore? Is keeping fish more of a what you would consider a luxury, or is it just a common thing that people would do, or how would you describe it?
I would definitely see it as a luxury. Definitely,
Mhm.
I don't think it's something that everyday folks want to do because of the cost and the time that it takes you know, to keep a tank. Uh, whether it be a good or bad tank, I think it's somewhat of a whether you have a passion for it, a drive for it, and definitely the finances for it as well.
So just to get a point of reference, that 50-gallon tank that you say that it seems to be a pretty standard size. What is a tank
15,
like that? Huh?
15, 15.
50, yeah, 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. The
Yeah,
football flex. Yeah,
yeah. How much? What would be the average price? I mean, obviously you probably looked at them. I'm assuming, right?
yeah. Uh, if memory serves me, I want to say the sticker price that I saw was maybe about 120 bucks.
100
About
what?
120 Singapore dollars.
Okay, so that would translate to dollars, US dollars, roughly.
Yeah, it's either $120 or $200. The
Oh,
number is
wow.
escaping me right now.
Wow.
But yeah, because of the fact it's flu vol and stuff like that. The
Okay.
sticker price might actually be higher. Um,
Okay. Yeah, no, that was because I know down in, like, when I go to Mexicali, I know a 10-gallon tank. It's not uncommon. Well, you see, Mexicali is a little bit different because it's right on the border. So a lot of people
right,
have access to stuff that's in the United States. You
right,
can bring it across and you don't pay that much. But I know that people that don't have that luxury of being able to come into the States and buy stuff,
right,
the average price for about a 10-gallon tank is about $50, uh,
right,
50 US dollars. And the more you go south into Mexico, the more expensive it gets because you don't have the access to the equipment. It's
right,
all import.
right. Yeah, but I think so far, like the tanks that don't need to be custom built, unlike the smaller tanks like a Fluval Flex 15, I think because of the fact that the Fluval Flex 15 is a kit,
Mm-hmm.
it comes with the heater, not the heater, it comes with the filter and the light and the lid. And because it's a kit, I think that's why it has that steep sticker price. Um, yeah. So basically, I would say that the fish keeping hobby here is more of a niche thing in Singapore.
So, being that you have 25 stores out there, what are
Right.
some of the predominant fish that you normally see at these fish stores?
Corridoras,
Oh, okay.
flower horns. Flower horns mainly because of there's some cultural superstition surrounding it. I'm not sure what exactly,
Oh, okay.
but so far I've seen corridoras, tetras, flower horns,
Hmm.
uh, a bunch of snails. Not ram's horn snails though. From what I've just looked. And yeah, and betas definitely because Thailand's like literally 2 countries away, 2 countries up
Mm-hmm.
north. Betas are common here as well. So
So in your culture, then the flower horn would be the equivalent as as it is with the arowanas for the Japanese
I'm
culture.
I'm not really in tune as to how the
Okay.
flower horns a superstition. That's just something that because I saw a flower horn on the news one day, and I asked my dad about it. I was like, "Oh, a flower horn," and my dad was like, "Oh yeah, they have some superstitions with regards to it," but he didn't go into detail on what the superstitions are. So yeah.
Interesting. You got anything, Steve?
Googling it. Oh yes. I was listening to you. You were talking about the 15-gallon tanks and the smaller. It being a niche uh thing. And I know some people that lived in Singapore. And then I know there's a lot of expatriates that come from like PI and countries like that to come work, you
Right.
know. So like what's your history? Like give us like a quick synopsis of like how you came up, what your childhood was like, and kind of how it would, you know, how something like the aquarium hobby would even fit your lifestyle. Like, yeah, go
Um.
there with us.
So I grew up. I only have one other sibling. I have an older brother. So it's just the four of us. And I grew up in Singapore, born and raised. Pretty much live in like a 5 room bedroom apartment. So yeah, we could theoretically maybe put in like I don't know, maybe a 5 gallon or something. But yeah, space and all that. So born and raised in Singapore. Um, what else you want to know? And yeah, I mean, I kind of got sucked into the hobby mainly thanks to you guys and definitely Corridorable. I mean, before Instagram and all that, I didn't know that the hobby was huge anywhere. To be honest with you, I didn't know it
Right.
was a huge thing in the States even. And then you guys start talking about KH and GH and potassium and
Right.
CO2 and the different kind of plants and the different kind of like aquarium salts. And I'm like, dang, these guys take their their aquarium seriously. I'm like, okay, okay. So yeah, I mean,
Well,
definitely
where I was going with it is like this, Ralphie. Check it out, right? So, like, an aquarium is something to do. Okay.
right.
So, like, thinking about the lay of the land, a normal day in Singapore, you in your youth, when you were younger, like, what's hot? Video games, sports, uh, talking on
Sports.
the phone, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think sports is a huge one. Soccer is a huge sport here in Singapore, although nationally we kind of suck at it.
Right.
But we
I didn't say that.
Singapore has a huge fandom with regards to the European football clubs,
Right.
soccer teams, and yeah, video games and uh, fish keeping is something that not necessarily within my age group or school
That's what I
going
wanted
kids
to get into.
would do. Um, definitely not something that I see. Angel Fish King is a great example. He's like a 19-year-old kid. He came on
Mm-hmm.
our live, I think, 2 weeks ago, and he's a 19-year-old kid, and he has two 37-gallon tanks. So he would be considered the abnormal. He would be considered the outlier when it comes to Singaporean kids, because we are more focused on sports. Academics is a big thing here,
Mm-hmm.
and sports, academics, video games. So the current hobby, unless you like have a passion with it or were raised around a family that had a passion for it, would be something that is completely out there.
Well, Singapore is a pretty wealthy country,
Right.
and the flower horn, it symbolizes luck. It's a good luck. It symbolizes luck in feng shui. And I looked it
Oh,
up in the Google, but I figured that too because one of my Thai homies told me that they always keep a turtle in the house
mhm.
because the turtle signify longevity and money, like fortune, dinero.
Right.
Yeah, so they always like a turtle, good luck sign. So I figured that. So look at a flower horn. It's a luxurious fish. It's a flamboyant fish. And then you
Right.
look at Singapore, the Singaporean culture is it's refined, it's luxurious. Like low key, I always put Singapore in the category of like a Southeast Asian Dubai, you know, because it's
Right.
really nice and cool. Like I'm thinking, like, do you think that the culture, the richness of the culture, has something to do with that? Because, like you said, y'all busy and it's sports, it's academics, video
Right.
games. If y'all have time, how is it like the social aspect of life over there? Does it even warrant y'all being able to do like how we do and kind of like isolate ourselves in the house and just spend time with all these aquariums versus going and get something to eat or something like that?
I mean, okay, as far as the something to eat is concerned, Singapore, we have 24-hour food options almost every single day, almost everywhere around the island. Um, as far as like having to be able to keep up a hobby whereby you keep like maybe multiple tanks and multiple tank syndrome like grabs you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
definitely not because of the fact that because of most people work 9 to 5 jobs, and then usually they have kids, or parents to take care of, like elderly parents to take care of.
Okay.
Usually, multiple tank syndrome isn't something that's heard of here, but maybe one tank, um, yeah, would
Um,
be would be something.
Yeah,
So
that multi-tat syndrome is more of a cultural thing in America because we tend to be gluttons and
exactly in everything we
Right,
do, excess.
everything's
Well,
go big or go home.
right,
this is the cool part about it, Ralphie Joe, because we was talking about establishing a genuine connection and what drew you to the hobby. And
right.
it's really intriguing to me to understand the day-to-day dynamics of the average person in Singapore and then dive into your age group specifically based on your perspective of it. And one of the things that helps me get a connection with you And one of the things that I admire personally is the fact that you use fish tanks exactly for what they're purpose for. You just look at the motherfuckers, man. And that is the coolest thing to me. That's what a fish tank is for. And that's why I rock with you. Because you just look at them. You just literally, you just look at them. You don't have one. You follow the hobby. You got the homies. You follow us. You watch our fish tank. Our fish tanks are literally your fish tank because you vicariously soak in all of this. Because I'm looking at mine, I'm pointing at mine, but you get to soak what we share with you in. And see what that did was it solidified why in the hell I got on social media in the first place. It re-solidified why I made my channel Warrior Planet Tanks, why I say gypsy style, why I say like these terms that I coined through my time making a social media presence and continuing in the hobby. And that's the coolest part to me is you just look at them, bro. So like, how does that, like, taking what I just said, like, how have you been able to enjoy the hobby vicariously through what we sharing with you and what you see us doing?
Right. I mean, honestly, it's just taking God's. It's like taking in God's creation and just being in awe. I mean, you look at there are a lot of like different ideas when it comes to the aquarium hobby, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them catch my eye. Like for example, one good example is ABC Aquatic Biotope Creations. He's over on
Yeah,
Instagram, and he
yeah.
has the river bottom tank, and that is very iconic when it like to view that it's like mesmerizing. I'm like like it's a marvel of engineering. And then you look at people keeping the monster fish. We have the silver arowanas in the States. People like Maple Aquatics keeps the silver arowana. And then our Canadian friends up north from you guys, they keep the Asian arowana. It's like, wow, you see the power and the majesty of these fish, and you like in awe. And then some guy keeps nanos or shrimps or
Mm-hmm.
different kinds of aquatics, and then it's it's just an experience, a very mesmerizing experience.
Yeah, it's funny that you were to bring up ABC biotopes because that was exactly the conversation Steve and I were having yesterday. That I was telling him
We did.
that there's two tanks that I really have really learned to enjoy because of the the idea behind creating that tank, and his river tank is one of them, and the other one that I've always said that's been my one of my favorites to see is Jesse's river tank, and
Yeah,
The
Corey.
Caldera.
Corey's yeah, that one she got with the duckweed and stuff.
and the little killifish.
That's what I want to know, Ralph. Do you think that you actively participating in the hobby will kind of take away some of that childlike wonder, that allure of you see, it's like you got kids, right? Somebody got a little baby and you play with the little baby, and by the right time your girl she start getting that baby fever, you be like, nope, here you go. You give the kid back and it goes to its respectful parents, its owners. And it's the same thing with you and tanks. You get to enjoy everything wonderful about it. But do you have you ever thought about or pondered if actively participating in the hobby would take away some of that
Right.
sparkle? Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I've got front row seat to the extremities of experiencing the hobby because my homie has 30 tanks. And every single day that I'm on the phone with her, she's either testing aquariums, bailing buckets on an RO, or cleaning tanks. And
Mm-hmm.
every single day she's doing it. And that's a raw picture of an extremity of the hobby. um, while I do understand that there's a certain, labor of love, a labor of sweat, blood, and tears, um, I'm kind of actually gearing myself up for that and like kind of like psyching myself up for that. But at the end of the day, I always got to remind myself that I'm doing this because I'm, wanting to admire God's creation and enjoy nature.
Yeah. So
Okay.
one of the things that I've always was curious is I don't I don't know how many of the people that are here don't follow you, but I know. I guess the question would be, how much has the hobby in itself, the the passion for the fish or anything, have helped you in your own personal life?
Um, it's definitely been calming. Like you log on to Instagram and you just scroll because I follow like about like 200 aquarists, and you just scroll and you just see the the various aquascapes and the various things that people are accomplishing within the hobby, and it's just scenic and calm and it relaxes me in a certain way, especially when it comes to like exams and all that. Like if I'm like at a high stress level, I just need to pull up my phone, scroll through Instagram for like 10 to 15 minutes, look at fish, and it calms me down. And that is one of the things I've got to like thank the community for in like putting out content to help people relax and go about their day, because it's a huge stress relief for me.
That's
Well,
awesome.
yeah, because I asked because that's one of the real reasons why I keep fish. It's just I really do. It is my little slice of heaven, I guess. If you
Right.
you
Amen.
want to, I'm so grateful that I'm able to have this. Where anytime I'm kind of want some alone time or I want to reflect or just don't want to think, I know I can come into the room and sit down and just not think about anything and just
Right.
watch. The interaction of the fish with their environment.
Totally.
So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I really do enjoy uh, doing what I do within the
Hmm.
hobby is because I find that to be therapeutic to me.
Right.
That leads right into my next question. I had to get my paper, and it is: how has the hobby changed your appreciation for nature and your surroundings? Has the hobby softened it? Has it? Do you look at things differently? Like when you go into a store and you see the decorations they have, the plant. Oh man, that look badass in the tank. Like, how has it changed your appreciation for nature
Um,
and your surroundings?
I mean, it definitely, because Singapore is relatively urbanized, so um nature is not, like we have trees and all that, but nature isn't. We don't really have like lush, like miles and miles upon lush greenery. Sometimes it's just you know bits and pieces of greenery and then buildings. Um, but looking at nature and looking at the
Hmm.
like looking at the trees and looking at the greenery, and you just wonder to yourself like, wow. I mean, sure, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, I literally walk down sometimes and I see fallen branches and I'm like, hmm. I'm thinking to myself, hmm.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
wonder if this branch, if I were to add it to my tank in my head, if I were to add that in, put a couple more, botanicals in it, could I technically do like a nice 15-gallon black water or something like that? So it gets the ideas racing in my head for the dream aquarium that I want. But yeah, definitely gives me. I've got like a dozen. Thanks to the community, I've got like a dozen ideas for my first tank.
Well,
So yeah,
yeah, that's going to be a slippery slope right there because as soon as you get
Yeah,
the one tank, you're going to go, oh, but I want to have a tank this style and then this style. And before you know it, you're going to have a house full of tanks.
man. This keeps happening. This rolls right into the next question. And watch this, Jorge. So, Ralphie Joe Peep Gang. Speaking of what you just said, right?
uh-huh.
How has the hobby changed the way that you interact with people? And I want to preface it. Let me preface it like this. Let me put my little check mark. Your first tank, it's your tank. But then there's all this influence, and you want to do it all, but you can only eat one. Next thing you know, you got 36 tanks up and running.
Right.
So, how has the hobby changed the way you interact with people?
So, I mean, the people are fickle. you know, Sometimes you find the gems in the world, and you stick close to them. You don't want them to leave your life.
Mm-hmm.
And some people that come into your life are pain in the necks, and
Mm-hmm.
like you gotta. I don't really see how having been in the hobby has like improved my or changed my interactions with people, but I definitely have learned to be a bit more understanding and a bit more empathetic, especially towards people that are like having like a pH crisis or like a nitrate crisis. Definitely can empathize, as to what they're experiencing. So empathy has somewhat increased, definitely.
Yeah. No, no, no. Goes into the next thing. Since you've been in the hobby, this is so dope. Since you've been interacting with people in the hobby, and based, this is so interesting what you just said, right? So I want to throw these words out here. Have you seen an increase in your patience? Have you seen an ability to change perspectives on things? And also troubleshooting, right? The ability to gather as many context clues as possible
Right.
so you can disseminate and make the best decision moving forward.
Definitely patience. Definitely patience. Patience is a virtue that sometimes I still need to work on. Um, and I've definitely learned to have a bit of patience because I realized that, hey, you know what? Um, this person threw in dwarf lily bulbs into their tank, but it's not gonna sprout immediately. It's gonna take about 48 hours to sprout. So you gotta wait for the beauty to show itself, kind of. So definitely,
Right.
patience is something that uh, I've had to learn with this hobby. Because as a being born into this generation of Gen Z, we want instant gratification. We want things now. We want things immediately. But this hobby has kind of taught me to slow things down and like take God's creation for what it is, and um, yeah, basically just wait it out and wait for God's creation to show itself in its full glory.
That's solid. That's solid. So expounding on that, because I kind of like where I like this frequency we're on right now. Expounding on that, has it changed how you approach trust in relationships to people, relative to people, and also relative to you and your self confidence and trust in the process? Are you talking? You mentioned it several times, appreciating God's creation. So, how has that changed the way that trust operates with you?
Um, as far as trust goes, I mean, I operate on the simple system of, I give you 100%. I expect you to give me 100% in the relationship, friendship, whatever we have, and don't backstab, don't backbite, don't gossip, nothing of the sort. So definitely trust in people. Uh, definitely, you know, is something that you still got to learn, but definitely being interacting with people behind screens where you really can't see their faces, um, definitely builds helps you build a level of trust with that person that you're interacting with merely over text messaging, or so yeah, definitely there's a level of trust that I've gained and learned through uh, entering this hobby.
What you doing, Jay?
No, no. Then it's so you said Gen Z. and I'm thinking Gen Z versus Gen X, and I want to know the hobby, right? We're talking about trust. To where
Right.
we got raised with the 1950s value set. Like our folks, they from like the
Right.
50s. So we got raised old school.
Right.
And we were the little dickheads back then because we was the
Right.
future. Yeah, we wanted to try. We wanted to figure. It wasn't just trust the process, boy. Do it the way I told you to, because it's the way. We was the little intrigue. We was why. Why does it work this way? Why is it this way? That's us. So now it's interesting to see how forward development has made Gen Z to where it's instant gratification. I don't care. Just plug it up. I just need it. Just give it, give it, give it. Going back to the question of troubleshooting, when you interacting with hobbyists, have you been able to see any examples of that along the lines of seeing somebody on social media that has a presence? They don't necessarily have the experience, but outward appearances would dictate otherwise, versus looking at some old seasoned cats who they might not have all the bells and whistles and stuff, but you can look at how they are methodical, pragmatic about what they do, and how the results speak for themselves. So, have you seen any of that, encountered that in the
I've
hobby,
seen
interacting with us?
I've seen very I don't think age plays any sort of variable in this hobby. You could be as young as 19 years old and be excellent at the hobby, and you could also be 65 and still have horrible nitrates and horrible pH and not feed your fish for 4 days or whatever. Um and I don't think age plays any sort of variable to that, but I think also like the advancement of the hobby, because I know back in the day, you guys had underground filters. That was the go-to. That was a blast from the past. But now, the filter game has obviously improved, and we have hang-on bags and canisters and sponge filters and what have you. So definitely technology has played a part in it, and I've seen uh, people, troubleshoot their issues in different ways. I mean, you go onto YouTube and you just Google and you just search on YouTube how to acclimatize a tank. You probably get 25 different ways to acclimatize a tank
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube right now, which is one of the problems with the internet. So you got to find the best way for your situation as to how you want to acclimatize your fish and how you want to acclimatize your tank, and how you want to set up your tank. So I think one of the problems of modern day is that there's too many opinions. Sometimes there's too many
Yeah,
opinions.
and that's what I was going to ask you real quick is based
Take
on
care, Lady
especially.
Rowe. Thank you for stopping by. Go
Oh,
ahead.
thank you. That's what I was going to ask you because how are you able to discern from the so much information that's out there to be able to figure out what is the right information? And I like to ask, especially you, because you don't have any tanks yet. Out of all the information you see out there, which ones do you? How do you discern which is accurate and which one isn't?
That's a solid question.
Um. So I mean, I see I see what you preach, and then I see how your tanks are. You know, if if you're saying something about oh, I acclimatize my I I only clean my tank an X number of days, but then I see like, hey, your nitrate levels are crazy high, you're gonna kill your fish. Like, you're not doing something right, and you shouldn't be preaching the way you've acclimatized your fish, or the way you're cleaning your tank. So definitely the way that the tank is shown is the definitive result of whether that person's philosophy works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and going back to a little bit
Right.
to that whole filtration, I think what's happened is a lot of information has been lost in the process, especially when we start talking about filtration, because you got to remember that filtration really plays a factor into the type of fish that you keep. And what I'm getting at is not all fish live in the same environment. And
Right.
what I mean by that, we have fish that are predominantly living in lakes where the water
Right.
movements is a lot more slower versus fish that live in fast moving water. And I
Right.
think when the hobby started creating all these different filtration systems that were intended to reach these certain areas, but people have lost that information in the process and just swear by a certain type of filtration, where
Right.
it's okay, but it might not be the most suitable filtration for the type of fish you're keeping. So I think when it comes down to filtration, I think first you need to start looking at what kind of fish you're keeping,
Right.
and so that when you decide what type of filtration system you're going to pick, it's a little bit more suitable to that type of fish's environment.
Right. Totally.
But any more questions, Steve? I know you got a whole
Yeah,
list down there.
I got a whole list. I was listening to that and I was telling Silver Creek, there you go. Look
Yeah.
at the devil. Look at the devil. So what's going on, Silver Creek? I just texted you a montage, a long ass damn novel. Tommy brung this up. Beautiful that you brung it up, George. It's different people, and different people keep fish differently. Number one, but different fish live in different systems.
Right.
So I'm going to apply information bias and say it's a moot point. But I can't say that because there's a lot of people who aren't aware of that.
Right.
You know, I mean, to me, it's obvious that a lake, a river, a creek, the ocean, you know, a cenote, they're all different.
Right.
They're all different. But once again, I'm gonna apply information bias because that's not the case for everyone. You know, so you not having a tank at the house, looking at everybody in media, immersing yourself in the hobby through the people, which is what I commend. Where's your discernment come from? Going back to that trust, right?
Right. What sources do
Knowing,
I trust?
right,
Basically.
where does that discernment come from? Like, what tells you, what lets you know that that's a good one and they full of shit? Like, where's that visceral discernment come from?
Um, I guess it's something that I've kind of like maybe picked up over the years of being observant and being like a relatively good judge of people and the situation, whereby I can
Mm-hmm.
kind of like realize, okay, this is a good example to follow, and this guy knows what he's talking about. Versus, you know what, this guy kind of doesn't know what he's talking about. So it's kind of like a psychological way of just looking and discernment, and also it's
Mm-hmm.
good in the fact that I've got someone that's close to me whom I can fall back on in the hobby, and she, having had experience in the hobby, I can kind of like fall back on her and like saying like, okay, would this work? Would this theoretically work? Have you tried this before? How did this happen for you? And I can kind of have that, you know, shotgun seat through the various rudiments and technicalities of the hobby through her.
Okay. See, and I'm asking myself questions I would ask you, but I'm asking myself like, what would I answer to that question, right? And what comes to my mind is you are in the hobby vicariously. You are doing it through sharing our experiences. So like, how do you avoid not ruining the love, and at the same time not becoming an armchair quarterback or like a backseat driver sort of thing, to where it's like you got to run that fine line of getting preachy, but then you ain't got no salt in the game versus no, I appreciate this because of what I said previously, because you just literally you watch them, but you learning, you digesting all this information.
Right.
It's different. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I never did see myself as an armchair quarterback or a backseat
Right.
driver. I don't think I have the authority to be in those roles, um, because I don't have the know-how or the knowledge of how uh, the technicalities of the situation of which the tank we are talking about is kept in. Um, But coming back to that, definitely when you look at a tank, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of realize, you kind of know, you kind of like realize like, okay, this guy, uh, it's obvious that he hasn't cleaned his tank. There's a lot of poop. So that means his nitrates must be crazy high, and there's algae in the tank. And you look for signs. You look for indications of what a good tank is or what a bad tank is. I'm not saying the algae is bad, by the way. I'm not in like a pro algae or anti algae or you should scrap algae or you should use seals
Right,
for
right. No,
algae.
no. You killing it,
Um,
right?
and you know, or what have you. But I'm just saying, by the look of the tank, and by what you should know of like what a good exemplary tank is, you know whether you're looking at a good specimen of an Aquarius.
And I think you've had a pretty unique perspective because you guys stream every Friday night on Instagram. So you've gotten over the. You guys have been on doing this. Are you guys coming up in a year yet?
We just celebrate 1 year of Corridor Calligrams was celebrated last year. Wait, no, hang on. Yeah, 1 year of Corridor Calligrams was celebrated uh this year on January 20th. So we've really passed our anniversary.
Yeah,
Um,
but has she been doing live streaming since she started?
oh, okay. We started live streaming back in November. And fun fact, if Aquafunk is in the chat because I can't see the chat. Fun fact, he was our first ever guest. So Aquafunk, if you're listening to this, you made history, bro. You were our first Friday Night Live guest that we recorded and we published that episode. So yeah. So we've been live streaming. I want to say we live streamed. First live stream was back in November, and then yeah. So somewhere in November, would be 1 year.
Oh, okay. But in
That
that
ain't bad.
time, and what I was getting at is because I know in that time, one of the things that you've had an opportunity to do is to look at so many aquariums, especially because when you guys have guests, that one of the things that they do is they share what they're doing in the hobby. So, uh, I it's giving you a really unique situation to be able to see uh,
Right.
some of the stuff you don't see when people post content.
Right, and you understand the unique problems because we also discuss and troubleshoot problems on the live,
Mm-hmm.
like ammonia spikes, nitrate issues, KH, GH issues. So I definitely get a front row seat as to how the realities of the hobby pan out, what problems could arise from the hobby, and the different methods when it comes to maintaining your tanks, whether you do use a RO system or use tap or whatever systems that you use. Definitely Friday Night Live has given me a huge eye into the different aspects of the hobby.
Speaking of Friday Night Live, and this is really why everybody came here. Now, for the folks who know and the folks who don't know, it was disclosed that Ralphie Joe here did
has,
have a fish.
has been lying to us.
And I'm not gonna say he lied. What I'm gonna say is it slipped his young mind because you said 21 años, ¿verdad? 21, yes?
Yes,
That's
21.
how old you are. So in 2 decades, and I give him 2 decades because like the first 7 years don't count. So I give you 14 years. You forgot that fast. So I'm gonna give you the chance because I'm fair and honest and just. I'm gonna give you the chance to tell the story of the fish, tell everybody what it was, and just tell the whole story. Here's your chance to come clean and let everybody know
Okay.
what you did.
So what I did was it kind of slipped my mind that growing up, uh my uncle, because we used to live under the same roof at the time, he brought home a small baby. Now we kind of identify a red-tailed gourami and we
Fantastic.
flew him out. And we named him Peter. And I kind of I don't know he probably survived 3 or 4 years, and then he died, and then for whatever reason it completely blacked out of my mind because I think life was really coming at me with the brain surgeries and getting to grips with my new reality. um, that I kind of like blacked it out of my mind until the anniversary live of Corridor Cali Aquariums, when my cousin Kabitha came on the live and was like, "Hey, by the way, he had a tank, he had a fish named Peter, and kind of spilled the beans, and the community hasn't let me live it down since." So that's my attempt at clearing my name. But I know for a fact that someone in the chat by the name of T-Bird Raven will never, ever, ever let me live that down.
Now,
There she is. um,
yes. Now, you do realize that a red-tailed gourami is a monster fish. Yes,
right. But to my
it was a baby.
memory, he that was when I looked up Google photos of the red-tailed gourami.
Mm-hmm.
That was his closest coloration of Peter. Yeah, but he was maybe about 8 inches, probably
Yeah,
at his
yeah,
oldest.
that's definitely yeah. Peter was Peter. Damn, Peter Po BB Po Peter. Oh man, yeah.
So yeah. So now I've got 3 people that I've named their fishes Peter. Michael the fish keeper named his new discus Peter, the male discus Peter. One of the Beavers says that she wants to name her dwarf Garami Peter, and Mexicali has Pedro, right? Or Pedrito.
Pedrito. No, that
Pedrito,
was me giving you a hard time. No,
right?
Oh,
no. The only fish that have names in my fish room are the goldfish that my grandkids picked out, and it's really only the four that they picked out. But I kind of have a hard time keeping them straight because every time they come in here, they give me a different name for their fish.
oh,
Right.
yeah.
So yeah, that's the story with the whole Peter thing. Uh, but
So
the,
go ahead.
but the thing is, my uncle did most of like the tank maintenance and the feeding. Like I wasn't very much involved with the fish keeping of Peter. So yeah.
Well, see, so that leads me to my next thing I want to talk about, and it just goes on how comfortable, how much you want to disclose. I will disclose on my own, my personal stuff,
Oh,
because that's the funny thing. Like we made a connection on something different because
right.
I didn't know about Peter, so I was blindsided by the whole thing. Like, Pete, what? No, because I was like, man, no, it's cool, man. Like he just look at tanks because he don't got one, but he doing what he's supposed to do. He just looking at the damn tank. But I started seeing the therapy stuff
Right.
and you going on your journey and stuff, and that's how we linked up was grit. Can you share with the people about grit and perseverance and basically because I just straight up told you in the text message, I was like, "But ain't no victims," or I think it was a voicemail or some
Voice
shit.
message.
We was doing because I do the voicemail like a walkie-talkie. I was like, "Ain't no victims here, God damn it." Go ahead, let tell the people if you
Right.
want.
So I was born with a condition called hydrocephalus, which was basically the ventricles in my brain were enlarged when I was a baby. So they operated me. They operated on me at the age of 2 days old. Where they inserted a shunt tubing from the back of my head to my abdomen, and that caused a whole lot of muscular and nervous system problems, whereby my right eye is weak and the limbs on my left side are weak as well. So I kind of grew up with the tag of special needs, disabled, in all these tags. Um, And back in 2010, the shunt blocked out. So the shunt blocked out. I had like massive headaches, um, and basically they had to operate on me 2 more times, do another procedure, basically puncture a hole, a small little hole on the base of my third ventricle to let the water flow freely. And you know, ever since then, I've had kind of like been through OTPT as a kid. Didn't really like the process. Didn't really like the experience. And then from the age of 13 or 14 to the age of 20, I just went through this angsty, angry phase. I wish I could come here and tell you that I lived 21 years of victory, but that's not the story. I was angry and I was mad and I was bitter for 5 long years, where the only words out of my mouth to the Most High King God was, "Why me?"
Right.
And what had happened was, uh, I met Jesse, Corridor Cali Aquariums, and I promised myself if I'm going to tell the story, I'm not going to tear up. But okay, so um, she comes into my life like an absolute whirlwind, and I remember the day that we zoomed. We zoomed on the 10th of October, 2021 at 5 a.m. And I was having a rough week, and I was like, I was like going through a bad phase, a very dark time in my life, and she pulled me into the Zoom. She was like, "Hey, we're gonna Zoom for 20 minutes." We ended up Zooming for 2 hours, and she told me, she was like, "You do not have a disability. You have an ability, so we are gonna work on it. And you are a child of the Most High King. You are God's son, and He will bring you through. And I'll see you through every step of the way." And like God will open all the right doors, close all the wrong ones. And you're too young and vibrant to be angsty and mad and angry about disappointment. So suck it up and
Yep.
work at it. And what had happened was 2022. I went to see one of my doctors for my hand, and he's like, "Hey, we want to get you a splint made." So I got the splint made, which is right here, you know, professionally branded with the Corridor Calliogram sticker. Um, and and the PT made the splint, the OT made the splint, and she's like, "Hey, you know what? Let's do some PT sessions, OT sessions, while you are in, on holiday, on break from school." And I was like, "Sure." And because I had the fire of the homie behind me, I was like, "You know what? Let's do it twice a week. I don't want to do it once a week. I want to do it twice a week." And every Tuesday and Thursday, I would wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning and do it. But here's the crazy part. First session, I woke up and I wanted to quit. First session, I woke up. I didn't have a victory attitude. I didn't have nothing. I sat at the breakfast table, and I was munching on my toast with jam on it, and I wanted to quit. And I texted Jessie. I was like, "Hey, can I call you real quick?" And I called her, and we had like a 7-minute phone conversation, and she brought that fire back in me. And like I've been fighting ever since. And honestly, you guys, OTPT, the first few sessions was pure pain. Was pure pain. The literal fact of it, if I could get the camera right, was one of the exercises was the full wrist lock on my left wrist. The first session that I did it, pain radiated like fire up my arm to my brain. I literally was like almost in tears. But 5 words kept me going. 5 words that I have on my phone kept me going. Super proud of you, homie. Those 5 words rang in my ears every single PT OT session that I had. And the curious thing was, on the 20 a few sessions down the line, the OT introduced me to my PT, and I was like, "Hey, he's been observing you. He thinks that you could work on your left leg as well, and you could wean off the brace." And we've been working ever since. And you know what? It's been a journey. It's been a painful journey, but a hell of a rewarding one. And I really thank God that I was given this second chance and second act in life.
See, like I remember I saw you post that thing, and I was like, "Hey, let me show you something." You know, it's kind of weird, like some rando shit. Like, "Hey, let me show you something." Like creepy dude, and I was like, "No, it's cool," you know. But coming from fish tanks, and I told you, like, "Hey, man, this fish tank shit is my therapy." You know, you don't need to be angry and bitter and shit. And you know, that's why we the same. And it hits close to home because don't nobody know what you got going on behind the scenes.
Right.
And people don't understand. You can be an inspiration to somebody. And maybe God put you here to be just that one inspiration for that person there. Maybe you're not supposed to be Beyonce famous. Or you know, maybe you're not supposed to have YouTube fame. Maybe
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So for Jesse to do that for you, maybe that's what it was for. Or for me to see you in therapy and have that recall come back to when I was in therapy and that shit sucks and it hurts. And I told you that. Hey, I'm not gonna candy coat it, bro. This shit gonna suck, but you better not quit.
Right.
You better not quit. It's not even entertainable.
Right.
But speaking of inspirational people, go ahead, man. Like tell the how. Like how is that able?
So yeah, I mean basically, and you know what? I hats off to Jesse and Tina. They have seen me at my best and they've seen me at my worst. They've seen me when I was whining and being a brat and being stubborn. And you know what? Credit to both of them. They might be my homies and what have you, but they calm down on me hard. If I don't do my OTPT, they're like, "Hey, buckle up, do your OT, do double tomorrow," and I'll be like, "Yes, ma'am." So like literally, Jesse, you see her on YouTube. It's like, "Hi, I'm gonna unbox Aquarium Co-op merch." No, 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 no. Behind the scenes, she's drill instructor. She comes at me hard, and Tina comes at me harder. So hats out to both of them for totally driving me hard and getting me to where I am right now and today. And hats off to Warrior too for inspiring me
Well, that's
to,
what I want
to
to
fight that.
like. You can't be a victim. And like I
Right,
preach that to like, dude, y'all don't know this, but I'd be like yelling in my phone, like, God damn it, Ralphie, fuck that, excuse my French, F that, beep, 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 like the SpongeBob dolphin in the background. It's like, no, we're not doing that. You need to get it in and go like suck it up. Like,
right,
if it hurts, don't do it, but it ain't gonna hurt at all if you don't do nothing.
right,
Like that macho shit gotta go out the window. You gotta get it.
right. And you know what? It's been a journey. It's been pain. Like literally like bending down to try and tie my shoelace shoots pain up my back, but I do it anyway because I need to do it. I'm not a quitter. I'm not a victim. The victim mentality is gone. I did
Good.
this exercise because I've been reading this guy's book by the name of David Goggins, and I've been
Oh
reading.
shit.
I've been
Shit.
reading. Jess again. Blame Jessie. She got me to she got me to sign up for Audible. I've been reading the audiobook, and he did this exercise, and he did this, and he has this exercise where he says, write every single excuse that you have had in your life on why you shouldn't succeed. And I thought, all right, pick up my phone, my notes app, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have 10, maybe 12 excuses. And I wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote. I came up with 40 excuses, 40 points of pure filth, pure venom, and pure untruths about myself. I remember giving that list to Jesse and Tina and jumping on a Zoom with them, like I think 2 weeks ago, and reading off that list and then ripping that paper to absolute shreds.
See?
Um, you know, um, I might be. The thing is, look, I might have been dealt the worst hand in life, but I'm not gonna go down without a fight. That's for damn sure. I
Man,
am not going
brother.
down with a fight. Life can throw its worst at me. 3 brain surgeries will never knock me down. You know what? Fall down 7 times, I'll get up 8.
You remember what I told you, Ralphie? We built for this shit.
Exactly.
Ain't nothing gonna happen to you that you not built for. And
Amen.
you gotta stay cognizant of that. Just because you going through it, but you built for it. You didn't guilt. It ain't the worst hand. It's your hand. That's the hand you got dealt. No victims. You not that. It's just something the doctor said that happened to you, and you got to do
Right.
X, Y, and Z extra now. So what? Is it extra? No, it's just some shit you got to do.
Right.
You know,
Just suck
so
it up and do it.
exactly.
You
So,
know
I
what?
mean,
I've got scars at the back of my head. I've got a valve at the top of my head. I've got scars on my chest, scars on my abdomen. But you know what? Those are just testaments of my story, and I will gladly tell my story. And Instagram has given me this platform to tell my story and to inspire people. And it's just been surreal. And the things that I've been able to accomplish, climbing 140 floors, I didn't even think possible prior to 2022. I didn't think I could even do it. But you know what? I'm a new man. And I don't even recognize the man that I was before I met Corey Double Cali Aquariums, which is why I owe her and I owe Tina a hell of a lot.
Well, I'm glad you said that because here's an opportunity to say what you
Hi.
want to say.
Oh,
Surprise.
oh, oh man, I
You
love you more.
yeah, no, I love you more. Uh that's our thing that we say to each other all the time. I just wanted to come on here and tell you how much I love you and how much that you've meant to me over the years. The almost 2 years that I've known you, I I would not have been published without you. I would not have been able to say goodbye to my biological brother without you. You have been the best brother to me my for the 2 years that I've almost 2 years that I've known you. That yeah I just yeah um you're amazing.
Oh man. Oh man, wow, I'm oh,
take your
Speechless.
time. Take your time.
Yeah.
I'm tongue tied. I don't know what to say. I'm grateful to both you and Jesse. And here's the funny bit, um, I introduced Tina to Jesse, uh, and I thought, you know what, this was gonna be great. They're gonna be best friends, and that's it. But at the end of the day, every single time we get on the phone together and we do a group call, it's a life lesson. Every single time. Every single time that we text in the group or whatever, it's a life
Mhm.
lesson, and I'm appreciative, very very much, very grateful for every life lesson that both these two women have
Ah,
imparted in me.
yay.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Oh
Yes.
yes.
Awesome. So this has been an awesome
Oh,
show. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Getting to
totally.
hear RJ talk about his evolution as a person and being a part of it has been like so cool. So I think he can give a lot of inspiration to people watching, and I really love it that you guys featured him.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just I've always been um, not I would no it's fascinating to actually be able to meet somebody who you kind of have in mind when you start posting content that you want to reach, somebody who might not keep tanks and has the opportunity to kind of enjoy those vicariously through us. And to really meet somebody like that, and not only meet somebody
Right.
that happens also to be a very, very nice person. So that makes it even much nicer to have that experience. And Ralphie to me has been an inspiration because anytime that I think that I have difficulties or that I want to think that things are hard for me, I just think about Ralph and what he's had to go through. And you know what I'm dealing with is insignificant to the challenges that Ralphie has been able to overcome. So there's no reason for me to complain or gripe of whatever it is that I'm going through.
Right.
So to me, it's funny because even though Ralphie Joe is here and enjoys what we do, to me, he's been important to remind me that I have it good, that things are not as bad as I might make them out to be. And to see his dedication, his grind, his hard work gives me no excuse. So thank you, Ralphie.
Yep.
That's
My
thank you very
pleasure.
much for doing that for me, and I'm pretty sure everybody shares the same sentiment too.
Yeah, I think Silver Greek said it. You don't know your limit. I think here it is. You don't know your limit until it's been tested. And
Right.
like you posted them pictures of all the equipment, and I was like, oh man, shit, that ain't nothing, bro. They had me looking like RoboCop. All them braces and stuff. I was like, look, you gotta wear it though. Yeah, it's gonna itch. It's cool. You gotta wear it though. Like put them
Right.
shits on. They work. And do the exercises. Yeah, they're stupid and they're kind of demeaning, but you gotta do it. Like, don't be a victim. Just suck it up and do it.
Right.
You know.
No victim mentality here. Totally no victim. Like honestly, Jesse and Tina have nagged the victim mentality out of me. Because I've always said, "Why me?" And they're like, "Stop whining, suck it
Yep.
up, Buttercup." Oh, and by the way, when Jesse stops calling me homie and starts using my real my first name, that's when I know that I gotta go
Mhm.
run, change my passport, change my identity, get a facelift, change location, change area code because I'm in trouble.
Yep.
You know what is worse? I was thinking that while you were saying that, because you probably would have to run. It's worse when it comes from women because you don't want to be, and it is just something in every. Oh, go ahead, Jess. Like,
No,
go
it's
ahead.
me.
Tina, I can't see.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
Raph and I have a walking bet, and we've included Jesse in on this now too. That whoever has the most amount of sweat equity, basically, because we do workouts when we can't walk, but we use them as step counts. So a 30-minute workout is worth 4,000 steps, and whoever has the most at the end of the month can roast the other one for the first week of the month, but the other one cannot roast back.
Ooh, that's good. Ooh, that's good.
Right.
Ooh, that's good.
Yep.
Hey, Ralphie, you better win.
He's beating me at the moment.
Yes,
but,
sir.
I'm not.
Well, and you know what? He's doing awesome. Like
Mhm.
he's had a couple of huge days that I'll never let him forget because he has really shown that he can push the envelope.
Yeah.
And done even more than I would, because since the beginning of our friendship, I've pushed him to do things he didn't feel like he could do, but I saw him as very capable.
Mhm.
And now that he's having like a 40,000 step day, which is like 20 miles of walking, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to let you off easy on anything now that I know you can walk 20 miles.
Heck, I can't even see I'm colorblind. I can't even see I've got bad eyesight anymore to them because she's all like, remember that one video where apparently I saw dust on her mirror and then she's all like, she's never gonna let me live that down.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm like, your vision is fine. Just suck it up and keep going. You got this.
Mm-hmm.
So now you need to win exceedingly. You can't just win because you done fucked up, right? because you done shown what you can do. So that's just a plateau. That's just a plateau.
Right.
Still climbing, bro. You're already shown. You haven't even scratched the surface of your capabilities yet.
Like I was sick last week and I couldn't work as much, and I said, don't take it easy. I wanna be able to fight back and beat you. But yeah, and he did not take it easy on me. Like I am like 40,000 steps behind him now. So yeah, so I'm
45,500.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
but
rub it in. Don't rub it in.
yeah.
I think that's healthy though, because look, and this is so dope. That's what I think. It was intended to be the same way in the hobby, right? That healthy competition to where it's like iron sharpens iron. Me and Watts always say that. Iron sharpen iron, bro. I say that to you all the time, Ralphie Joe. Iron sharpen iron. And that's what Tina just like literally got through describing in a tangible way. Don't take it easy on me. That's an insult. Like, or do you think that because maybe I was busy, or maybe I was binge watching Netflix or something, but don't let the smooth taste fool you because you got your little head start. You know what I'm saying? Because not only am I gonna catch you, I'm gonna beat your ass. So like that's what it was supposed to be with the fish tanks, but because this is missing the ability to have a conversation with the people and interact together, so much gets lost in context because of social media, because there's so much one-sidedness. You don't get the chance for Ralphie to clap back, or Ralphie, you don't get the chance for Tina to say, I'm on your ass, boy. Don't slow down now. Don't get tired. We just started. Like, we missed that because everything's so one-sided, and then it's based on everybody else's perspective of what they're digesting, how they, formulated in their mind. So I think this is just, to me, from talking to you, Ralphie, it made me like same thing George said, but different, along the lines of my channel for people like y'all. So I would have never thought I was going to come across cats that I specifically made my channel for and be able to rock with them. Because the whole anger thing, I was like, no, that bitterness and that anger and all that, that what you do is you start becoming self-righteous, and then it fosters that victim mentality. I was like, no, I just veg out on my fish tanks, bro. And it keeps me patient, and it keeps you humble, and all those good virtues like that. So to be able to come across somebody like you that I made my channel for, and I'm looking at my tanks that I talk to you because they really do. It's a therapy. Like, you just get lost in them, and you be like, I'll be damned. Some bitch had babies. I would never thought. And then all the other stuff that was bothering you before, it dissipates. It's gone. Next thing you know, you over here trying to roast Tina and talking about you 40,000+ steps above her. You know what I'm saying? But she love you because you get to feel what it feel like to win, G. And that's what I told your ass.
Yeah.
Y'all, your generation, y'all getting robbed of what it feels like to win by this bullshit ass participation, euphemistic society that we developing. And that's why like social media made me hate tanking, because why you gonna come to me and want my knowledge and stuff, what took me 30 some odd years and a lot of money and crying and shit to get this right here, and then I get ready to give it to you, but because it's not sensationalized, you don't appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And y'all getting robbed of what it feel like to win. Like, if you show me your tank and you value my opinion, but I can't even be honest to you and tell you it's ugly.
Right.
And then you say, oh, he's not trying to tear me down. He's telling me it's ugly. Let's go this way. I'm not crapping on you, homie. I'm just saying that's ugly, boy. What you was trying to do? Oh, trying to do this. Well, no, that ain't it. Let's do
Yeah,
this. You feel me? And
yeah,
in generation getting robbed of that. That's love. I gotta love you to risk hurting your damn feelings to tell you the truth. I gotta
right,
love the fuck out of you, bruh, to be able to do
right.
that. And we so chicken shit these days. And so that's what I'm
Totally.
saying. It's inspiration to be around people like that, like what you got going on. That's what
Yeah,
I'm. That's
totally, totally. I mean, both Jesse and Tina, they don't mince words. If I don't do PT, OT, I mean, they're on my case. Like,
Yep.
so fast, you know. I'll take longer to say corridor Cali aquariums 10 times than then for them to get on my case. Um, so so you know, they keep me honest and they keep me grounded and they keep me accountable. Like literally, like I would have some cowardly, whiny thought come to my head, and then I would think to myself, would the homie let this fly? Would Tina let this fly? If the answer is no, discard. You know, so both of them have like instilled in me this fighting grit mentality that I'm honestly very, very grateful for. Uh, yeah, and the love of the community as a whole, and yeah, basically.
well, no, grit is. We need grit to come back in the hobby. And I seen Drew
Right.
put a comment. Fishy Bears in the house. He put a comment down. He said he in the car trying to get it to work. Let.
All right, you do it.
They said I'm in the car with the family. RJ knows what I think of him and his journey for sure. So it goes to talking about grit. And it goes to you don't never know what the other person got going on. Right?
Right.
And then when I made the statement that social media for a time it really did make tanking not fun for me
Right.
because all the silliness, you
Right.
know. So you think about the grit and think about the people like you. All you
Right.
want to do is enjoy some beautiful works of art, not all that drama and stuff. And then you delve into the science of it. Now you talking about GH and KH and water parameters and shit. And you ain't even got a fish tank in the house and you kill Peter. You know what I'm saying? But look at see, I didn't see that. Look at how it brung everybody together though. And then you talking about grit, perseverance,
Right.
going sticking it through to the end, despite
Right.
the odds that you face with. That I learned that from keeping fish tanks. I'm trying to tell you, like
Right.
the fact that I can put decades behind the fact that I've been doing this on purpose and I still do it. It is grit. And then it goes back to another point you hit earlier, talking about Gen Z versus some of the older generations in this instant gratification. Well,
Right.
you can't do that with fish tanks. But the trade-off is the beauty that you get. That's the trade-off. You wait a little while, you do this stuff, and then you get to sit and it takes away all the other stuff. Like to me, I think that's a beautiful trade-off.
Right. I mean, it's a matter of how bad do you want it? Which is one of the things that you know, Jesse instilled in me early on because we met by a writers group, and I'm like, how bad do you
Man,
want
Mark.
that traditional publishing deal, and what are you willing to give up for that? And we would sprint, sometimes 3-4 hours a day sometimes. And I told her I made a promise to her on the 10th of September, 15th of September 2021. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw you over my shoulder and carry you all the way to Random Penguin House if I had to. And with Tina, I met her in a procrastinators group. And we,
Yep.
connected because we are both writers. We are both football fans, although I disagree wholeheartedly with the team that she supports.
And so I disagree with your team too. So yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's honestly these two women have just instilled in me this new attitude of grit and this attitude of I can instead of I can't, and why me and all this and this whiny shit, this whiny bullshit that I was poisoned with for a very, very long time, and like take the hand out and instead of doing it yourself. So yeah, I mean, totally. These two women are my pillars and my of support. Every
I'm
step
glad
of the
you
way.
said that too.
I may not agree with the team that you like, but I did love you enough to buy you a calendar.
Oh yeah, totally. She bought me a calendar. I don't think I can move my Mac though, but
No,
yeah.
it's a
Anyway,
yeah. I actually purchased a Patriots calendar. Um I wanted to throw it away as soon as I bought it, but I bought it for him to send to him. So I did.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I can't stand the Patriots either.
Oh, yay.
So talking about grit, no, for real though, and perseverance, because I said you said poison, right? Because it is
yeah.
a poison. It's such a toxic way to think, and I just love how it all ties together. All the stuff we talk about on Fish Plenty Moss, about methodology, about stating your purpose. If you can state your purpose in any and everything that you do in life, that kind of takes away all them excuses. And then that's what happens is that toxicity comes, that poison of I can't. You said you wrote 40 excuses, bruh. 40
Right.
points of why you would not be successful. And had you stated your purpose and still did that exercise, look at them 40 excuses. Because what you see is the excuses don't support the purpose, which is why they're excuses in the first damn place. They're not supposed to be there. They're hindrances. It's a blockage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, like the way when you said that, like that I was poisoned, that is literal. That's literal poison.
Right.
It's something that disrupts normal communication, and it serves as a hindrance. You know.
Right. I mean, I'm glad that filth has been purged off me. Um, it was baggage to carry. It was heavy to carry. It served absolutely zero purpose to the benefit of my life. And you know what? I move forward with uh good and better a better outlook in life. And like, you know what? I got this. And I look at you, Warrior, and you came on our Veterans Day live and you showed, I still remember that scar up your arm. That scar up your arm.
Yeah, there you go. Right
And
there.
I'm like, damn, this guy's been in the Navy.
I got some more.
And he's got all these scars and all that. I'm like, what? It's kind of like I really look up to you, bro, because
and that's why I said that, bro, about the armchair quarterbacking. Because if I tell you I've been there, I've been there. And then that's why I said what I because like a lot of people think I don't make no sense. I know that because y'all don't speak what I like my vernacular. But when I said I want to make sure that what's there is there, I don't want to waste my love. You feel me? Because I don't want to waste it. So if I say I've been there and then I seen that, I just cringe. I was like, boy, I remember that shit. All those braces and all the laces and zippers and clamps and shit. And then they put you on pills and it's too much. And then you got to go to therapy because what people don't understand is on top of what you're going through physically, you still fucked up psychologically. So you still got to deal with that. That's a whole separate item in the grocery basket.
Oh, I've got something on my CV that
you
I
know
don't
what I'm
think
saying?
many people will have on their CV because I managed to see the inside of an operating room, like the literal inside. Like there was one operation that I had to do because I had to remove a bit of the tubing that they had here on my neck, and it was a day surgery. It was a day operation, and they had me walk into the operating theater and like see all the machinery and the lighting and they had me strapped down to the small ass bed and like,
Damn.
bro, what? and then they had me like sucking the gas mask, which smelled of peach. And yeah, I mean that's experience of the history books. Walking and seeing the inside of an operating room. It's insane. It's insanity, but I lived it. And you know what? I came out on the other side, and I'm still fighting till this very day, thanks to the grace of the Almighty God and grit
Mm-hmm.
and just a great support system. Between between these two women, and also shout out to the Facebook group that Tina and I are part of, which is Help Me, I'm Procrastinating. And we have a small messenger group chat with about 9 odd members, and we've become kind of like a family. And just
Mhm.
shout out to those people for, wherever they are across the world, from all the way down from Australia all the way up to Canada. Uh, those guys have been a huge pillar of support for myself.
Yep.
So,
And me and myself too. Yep.
and Tina is part of the group too. So yeah, um, you know, and I try not to sugarcoat things on my page on Instagram. I show you the
Mhm.
real unadulterated version of myself with regards to being OTPT. And you know what? I tied that lace for the first time on that board that Jesse
Yeah.
posted part of Grams' YouTube channel. Not YouTube channel, Instagram.
It was on
And
Insta. Yeah.
yeah, and that was an immense pride. I felt proud at that moment. I was like, "Damn, I actually did that." After
Yeah.
grinding for so long, and yeah, ever since then, that's has been like what has been keeping me going. Because every time I look back, I'm like, I did that. I can do more. I did that, so I can do more, and I can push myself, and I could really recover and really become independent and live the best life possible.
That's the first
I,
of many firsts for you.
I
You're just gonna
laughed
soar.
Yeah,
when he
totally.
said that because when I saw you post that post, I saw it on the. I had my phone, and I think I was listening to the radio or something, and I saw that post, and I said, "Hell yeah!" all out loud and shit, and then pump my phone and shit, and then I wrote you a novel, Attaboy and shit. But that's when you said that specific, I laughed. But real quick, I want to do because we running on time. Since you got us all here, real quick, and this is walking exercise or real time exercise of how therapeutic aquariums are. Since you got all those hobbyists here, I want you to kind of run down your dream setup, your fish, your plants, like what
Okay,
bioscope, everything, and then like ask us which ones we like too after you get through.
okay. So, my first tank, my first tank, my dream tank. Okay, my dream tank would be a 40 long, 40. Actually, no. Give me a 90 gallon Rockscape with double black German Rams. That's my dream tank. That for me is an awesome tank. Have it, run on a hang on back filter. And yeah, I'm not into plants as much, but I don't know why I'm into the Rockscapes a lot. So Rockscapes, double black Rams,
Clean look.
those are my dream fish. But my first fish, in honor of in honor of my mentor, I've told her this, but in honor of my mentor and branding of Corridor Calligrams, and because I have a very, very soft spot for the fish, my first fish will be Stare by Corridors. Um, and yeah, so yeah, Stare by Corridors in my 15-gallon flex. So that's the dream.
Nice. I was visualizing the Rockscape 90 with the black GBRs. I was thinking some black Calvis would look badass in there. Some Trophius would look badass in there. That's a nice, tasteful tank. I mean, it's eclectic anyway. Who cares about the continents? Nobody's been snob. You know,
Right.
I mean, nice.
Right.
Well, I know
Jorge,
you
what
have
you got?
requested 5 minutes at the end, Ralph. I guess these are your last 5 minutes.
Right. So this is my last 5 minutes. I'll try to make it quick, but thank you both for having me on Fish Planty Mas. It was an absolute blast. And I have a special message for the two very special women in my life, and I didn't know you guys were coming on camera, so this is gonna be hot. But thank you both for being in my life. Thank you both for being awesome friends, being confidants, being cheerleaders, and being there for me when I needed guidance and when I needed love and affection and a stern word and a corrective word the most. So for every situation, I just thank you for being in my life. Uh, and you know what? I don't know about tomorrow and what tomorrow holds for Corridor Cali Aquariums, homie. But know this, and this is a public declaration to the entire fish family, that I will be your wingman. I will be your co host and I will be your homie now and forever into eternity. And to Tina, I am proud to call you my sister from another mister, and I love you more.
Aw, thank you.
I love you most.
Man,
Well,
all that mushiness and stuff, man. Those first stuff.
They get super mushy, let me tell
Suck
you.
it up, nah, Tina. Damn it, Tina. All that crying and shit. Conserve water.
don't be fooled. The reason
Yeah, I
Steve
know.
wears those sunglasses is because
Uh-huh.
he doesn't want to see what he's really feeling behind them. That's the only reason he wears them.
Love you too,
Yeah,
Jorge.
well, thank you, Ralph. Ralphie Joe, for being here with us. I really do appreciate you accepting our invitation to join us. Uh, this has been a really uh, heartwarming, I guess, or inspirational stream that we've done, and I really do admire all the hard work you put into yourself and trying to improve every day. All I have to say is just keep grinding, buddy. Just keep grinding.
Thank you. Thank you both for your support. Yeah, it's just insane the amount of support that you guys, the Fish family, have given me, and I appreciate every single uh, DM. I still remember Mexicali DMing me one time. All he said was, "Well done, pulling for you, kid," and that DM has stuck with me. I'm like, okay, you know what? He's in my corner. Warrior's in my corner. Funk's in my corner. Fishy Viz is in my corner. It's like
See, he said that he
surreal.
old. That's some shit. That's some shit. An old man would say. I'm rooting for you, kid. At least I was cool. I gave you a good ass nickname, Raphael Joe, and then I said in my Debo voice, "Stop being a bitch and come on." God damn it, suck it up. Nah, but
All right.
no, I'm rooting for you, kid. That shit made me feel some kind of way. Why you always got to be better at everything, Jorge?
I'm not.
Classic. I'm rooting for you, kid. It was good too. Jealous.
Well, ladies, anything you want to say before we go?
Gosh, this has been a lot of fun. I
Mhm.
really appreciate you inviting Raphael on. I think he really looks forward to it. And I know that he appreciates all of your support in his journey to, um, just, I guess, liberate his mind, to free him of any type of resentment about setbacks, and to rather relish that as like a ministry, like, hey, God gave this to me because I'm tough and I can handle it.
Built for it.
And I think that
Mhm.
you're totally built for it, and that's awesome. The first time I saw him tie his shoelace, it inspired me, and I shared it, which I don't share stuff very often, but I shared it because I thought it would inspire other people.
Right.
And I think his idea of the fish keeping hobby, I think he's doing it right. Warrior, you totally called it. These tanks are supposed to be looked at and appreciated. I spend all my time cleaning and I don't appreciate my tanks enough. So I think he's fish keeping the right way.
You're doing it right.
Yeah.
Tina, you over there?
Yeah.
Come on, let me bring you up.
Yeah,
There you
no,
go.
I was yeah, you're the best brother I've ever had in my entire life, and I love you, and you're just gonna soar. And I'm glad I have a front row seat.
Aw.
Well,
All right.
thank you, ladies, for accepting the invitation to come up here and share your thoughts on Ralphie. You know,
Yeah.
I just he is a special guy, so
Mhm.
he's always fun to be around. I know I'll let you a little thing that you probably already know, but Ralphie he's pretty sure what he wants and when he wants it and how he wants it. Because I know when I had posted the thumbnail for this, he didn't waste time to call me up. I mean, send me a message say, "Hey, you got Corey Dorable's name incorrectly, and you need to change it now." It wasn't when you can; it's like now. So
See?
yeah,
I said
That's
please.
what no, but like check this out, because everybody, like what Tina and Corey just got through saying, like the motivational stuff and the warm fuzzies, that's cool, but you can't use that word homie loosely,
Mhm.
Right.
right? Who
Right.
got your back? Like who there when it's like shitty, when life
Okay.
sucks, when you know
Yeah.
the hard time that we don't get to see, and everybody oh yeah, enjoying the attaboys, but can I call you? Can I slide in your DMs? Can I hit you up? Can I vent? You got a shoulder for me? You see what I'm saying? This is what we here for. And
Well,
that's why go ahead.
it yeah, on that, it took me forever to actually ask him to call me when I needed a shoulder. Like one time he asked me if I wanted to call, and I really desperately wanted him to call, but all I could say was, if you're okay with me crying on the phone, yeah, please call.
Uh-huh.
But and then but then I don't know, if something happened, it's like I got used to it, and now I just say, "Hey, I'm having a hard time. Can you call me?" And
Mm-hmm.
it's easier. But yeah, it took me a while, because it takes me a
Right.
while to get that close to someone and to ask them it, when I need something.
That's
Totally.
dope. You know what, Tina? The same way that Jess just said that, Ralph, you doing fish tanks right. You supposed to just look at them and appreciate them. This is what I preach so much about me and Jorge coming together with Fish Plenty Mas. Because what we want to do is we want to show the people and these youngins how to use social media right. Y'all use social media right. When you put yourself in that vulnerable place to say, as long as you cool with me crying, let's talk. Because y'all needed that.
Hmm.
And guess what? We can all five of us link up together in different states, different countries, and give each other that support. The
Totally.
social media does not always have to be flexing, everybody happy,
Hmm.
and tearing people down.
Right.
Put the social back in social media to where we can
Right.
have discourse and dialogue openly and be able to call somebody and vent and cry or,
Right.
bitching about the old lady or whatever it may be, the case may be.
Right.
But that's the social aspect. So that's what kind of I want Fish Plant Minds to be. Me and George both is showing people how to use social media right. And it just so
Amen.
happens that we talk about Fish Plants Imas too. So and so thank y'all for bringing that up. Thank y'all for coming up today. Like
I wasn't
I'm not
expecting that.
Hmm.
well, I know it kind of seemed like last minute when I made the request, but I kind of purposely did that because I didn't want the opportunity or the possibility of somebody slipping and saying, "I will see
Mm-hmm.
you there" or something like that. It was I intentionally did it that way because if nobody knew what was going to happen,
Right.
then
So the homie's pretty much got her payback for Biz at this point.
No.
No, no.
I'm gonna
no.
get okay. He's asking for it now. He wants me to start talking about how I razz him for his bougie lifestyle.
Oh, yes.
Did not give them any tips on razzing you, but if Mexicali and Warrior want to tease you about salmon and brie cheese, eating it in Aeron chair and Prada loafers or something, they're welcome to do that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna roast you. I'm gonna help you be better. Well, I guess I am gonna roast you. Fuck. Now, why do you do these things, Ralph? Do you appreciate them for what they are, or are you trying to reinvent yourself by putting forth an image? Like I'm bougie, but not by choice. I was born this way, and you learn that the things they just are, just like what you said. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's not good, it's not bad. It just is.
Right.
So, like, would you eat the salmon? And then it's smoked salmon. What is it? Gravlax? What is it? What are we talking?
It's fresh salmon.
Pan-seared salmon.
Pan-seared salmon, huh? It's a little basic, Ralphie. What kind of pan-searing we talking about here? Are we finishing it with a little bit of herb butter? Like, what are we doing here? You brushing it with rosemary and thyme, a little bit of garlic.
Garlic, yeah.
Is it wild caught salmon?
I'm not sure of the locality, no.
Oh my goodness! You're eating genetically modified salmon.
Oh,
what kind of method are you using to pan-sear this salmon?
Oh no, he didn't do it.
It's prepared for him.
His live-in maid prepared it.
So the maid. Okay, that's right. You do live in Chicago. No. It's cultural, and people talk that shit because, like, most of the time I go overseas, I don't drive. I have a driver because it's cheaper. Dead ass. It's just cheaper.
Yeah.
And you can drink.
It's safer because they know.
It's safer too. They know the hood. They know where everything get. Blah blah blah. So Ralphie having a live-in servant.
Oh, jeez.
It just speaks of his privilege. Yes, it doesn't speak of his privilege. Yes, it speaks of his privilege. But really, it's more so of a cultural thing. It's like a lot of middle class to upper class people have servants, if you will. They have domestic servants waiting on them, hand and foot, cooking and cleaning. And then they give them a little shack to live in and toys to play with. Yeah, it's privilege. So how'd your servant prepare this pan-seared salmon?
Nothing much. Salt,
lemon butter, caper sauce. I mean,
butter,
fuck.
And
Ralphie just eats it.
Oh man.
But if you took him out to dinner, he would order the crab or the lobster on the menu.
I wouldn't.
Just plan on, if you take him out to dinner, he's going to get the fillet or the lobster or the.
You don't want to go to dinner with me, Ralphie, because we're eating street tacos.
See,
I love street tacos. Oh my god, I love street tacos.
I teach my kids this, and I teach them etiquette because I tell them there's going to be times when you get older and you go kick it with the homies, or you go to have dinner with the fellas, whatever, and somebody is gonna offer to pay. They're gonna say, "Hey, I got it. It's on me." Why? Because we dudes and we like to fucking flex. So when you go and you're put in this situation, don't embarrass them by getting some cheap shit, because now you're saying they pocket can't handle the business. And then two, don't be trailer trash and get the most expensive thing on the menu. I said, get good food, get a good variety of good food, be modest, but at the same time, exemplify taste and quality over trying to impress somebody. Get something that you're going to enjoy. Get something that intrigues the other people and starts a small, subtle conversation. What'd you order? Oh, that looks nice. Learn etiquette. So I don't necessarily see a problem with that, Ralphie. Like if you just over here being a busted Betty, I don't. That's Texas vernacular, old busted Betty, you know, um, and you just ordering like the prices dictate what you order, not so much your
no.
appetite. Then that's not classy at all. But
I'm a
like
foodie. Yeah.
I want to see
He
a
just has
good
expensive
plate.
taste. He has good taste.
I got
Hey, can you not stop exposing me to the fish fam?
I know that it's the day he visits me up in Washington is I am booking a room in somewhere, and I'm having a big old party and introducing him to all my friends.
I didn't know where you was
Yeah.
going with that when you said you was booking a room. And I was like, damn,
No.
you be baby cheering, watch. I know I use a little profanity, but my profanity compared to TikTok, bro,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't even
yeah.
care anymore.
Yeah.
I see what my nieces watch on their phones, and I'm like, ooh, they need a whooping. So I'm not worried about a little bit of profanity. No, them kids watching terrible stuff.
No, we're booking a party room and having a big old party.
Totally.
Do you drink booze, Ralphie?
I indulge in the occasional glass of wine, but other than that, not really.
Yeah.
Just wine. Wine is not booze. Fool, that's juice compared to what country you in. Kids drink that shit. Like grandmas drink wine. Like booze, libations, liquor.
Although the drinking age is 18 in Singapore, I have not indulged.
I'm trying to help you manage your expectations because Tina says she's booking a party room, and you need to know what that entails in the Pacific Northwest.
There will be alcohol there, but I won't be partaking in them because I take medication that doesn't allow me to drink.
Eat the mushrooms, Ralphie. Eat the mushrooms.
Yeah. There will not be any drugs at my party.
I didn't say nothing about drugs. I said mushrooms.
Mushrooms, yes.
Shiitake.
He wants the stuffed shiitake.
Homie.
I'm trying to see what that would even be like.
Ralphie Joe could blush. Look at him.
Yeah. He blushes all the time.
If you want to talk about bougie stuff, Ralphie, I got you. Don't
I
trip.
knew you would have his back on that because
I'll hit you up on DM.
Like, do you know what this is, Ralphie?
What is that?
This is Jinka. This is my turmeric water. I drink it every day, but it's Jinka. You can buy Jinka already made, and I'm lazy, so that's what I do. But it's turmeric, pink Himalayan sea salt, ginger, a little bit of coconut water. There's only like 5 or 6 ingredients in it. But this is the anti-inflammatory mixture. It's really good. It's Ayurvedic medicine. Good for you. But it's just cheaper to buy the Jinka. It's like $50 for a little can. But it's cheaper over the long run than getting the turmeric shots. And then I have raw turmeric too. But this is just convenient and tastes good. Don't worry about it, bro. It's not bougie. It's not. It's just living. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with fish tanks. Like, I don't got no filters, but like my delivery is not sensational. And this is what I'm talking about. You can be classy and have etiquette. Like rich people who wear t-shirts and stuff. You don't wear your money. And you don't but if I'm going to be fabulous, I'm going to be fabulous. You know what I'm saying? But like today, I got on a freaking t-shirt, because it's my color. I'm supposed to wear green today. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's numbers and that's something totally different. But don't worry about it, man. You good. But either way, if y'all don't got nothing, like I got you on the bouginess, just, not in tanking.
I'll hit you up.
Huh?
I'll hit you up on DM.
Yeah, hit me up.
All right. Well, I guess we'll bring it to a wrap. I know we were trying to do that about an hour ago, but then Steve got to talking, and then
you of course blame it on me. Of course. Of course.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but you know, it was a great pleasure to have you here, Ralphie Joe, and you know, thank you for allowing us to get to know you a little bit better. So, and thank you, ladies, for coming up on such a short notice. So, thank you very much. And
real
everybody
quick,
else,
I'm gonna roast Tommy. What the hell is this? I do a pea and quinoa protein mixed with moringa and manuka honey with a banana in it every morning.
That's pretty bougie. That's
I like
pretty bougie.
I like to look at the silhouette of my ass cheeks in the moonlight next to the veranda as it
Next to the
cascades
veranda.
into my billowing skin with its milky ivory effervescence. The hell is wrong with you? I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all have a blessed weekend, man.
bye bye.
All right. Take care.
All right. Peace.
Peace.